Today, we're gonna go over all things new construction.
Yeah, whether you're a first-time home buyer or just curious about the process, this is your ultimate guide to new construction homes 101.
We'll figure out how to pick the right builder and understand all the different stages of new construction.
Get ready, we're gonna know the ins and outs of building your new home from ground up. If this is the first time in our channel, subscribe and tap that bell for notifications so you don't miss anything about our channel.
We get calls from people just like you every day, whether you're trying to move in 9 days or 9 months. Our goal is to help make your move to Houston as smooth as possible.
My name is Celia Villegas.
And my name is David Macias, so let's go see more about new construction. First thing I think we need to talk about is why would somebody buy a new construction home?
Yeah.
So what do you think? Well, why would somebody want a new construction home over a resale home?
When you buy a new house, you know that you're not gonna have major issues. You have new pipes, you have new roof, new flooring, new HVAC system. You know that you're not gonna have fixing a little bit of this and later that. So it's a peace of mind.
Yeah, not only does you have everything new, but the builders also give
Warranties.
Yep, so builder comes with home warranty, and they'll have different types of warranties. Here in Texas, you'll get at least a 1-year warranty on just about everything on the house, and then everything trickles off after that first year. It'll be like a structural warranty, which is like 10 years, or a roof warranty, which is like 20 years. Foundation, I think is 20 or 30 years. So you get tons of warranties, and that's a really good big plus on it. I think the reason why you'd want to buy a new construction over resale sometimes is because of the style of the home. So builders are following trends. They know what's popular, they know what people like, they know like the colors and the finishes. So if you want a house that's a little bit trendy, and not just aesthetically, but trendy in the sense of practicality.
Exactly. For example, energy efficiency in the house.
That's a huge trend.
Exactly. You have energy efficient appliances, windows, insulation. That is a big saving.
And that's a big deal in Houston, because if you don't have energy efficient home, your electricity bill is like
go up
a lot, like $300 or $400.
Yes.
And you can get it down to, you know, $150 or less on the summer months on certain homes. So it's a big deal. All right, so I want to break down new construction homes, and really there's 2 categories or 3 categories, and then there's 2 categories within that category, right?
Okay, yes.
So the 3 categories that I put new construction homes in are like fully custom homes, where every single detail is planned out meticulously and handpicked.
Yeah, you pick everything.
Right?
Everything.
We're not gonna talk about those, because those are like, you know, $1 million plus homes, and you know, that's a lot, right? So the next one is semi-custom. And semi-custom is where they already have floor plans, they already have options within those floor plans that they can change, or finishes within those that they can change, and you get to pick kind of this or that on most things. And then the last one is just completely new homes that you don't get to pick anything.
It's just a new home.
Yeah, and there's like 1 or 2 builders, big builders, who do that for the most part, but a lot of the really good, cool semi-custom builders let you pick options and have a lot of options, right? But inside of that, we're gonna talk about semi-custom homes, but inside of semi-custom, there are 2 more categories that we're gonna talk about today.
Exactly. One is the inventory homes, which are the homes that are already built out, and the second one is the ones that you build from the dirt, like from ground up.
From the ground up. So let's talk about inventory homes first, because that'll be the quickest and easiest to talk about.
Exactly. That house, the inventory house, is the house that the builder already built, and you barely doesn't have any option to pick. Or
yeah, they've already picked out everything.
Yeah.
Now, an inventory home doesn't always mean that it's a completely finished home either, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they're in different stages. So like, and the stages could be like the house is already framed up, and depending on the stage, they may at a certain cost allow you to change things. But you're not changing bedrooms and walls, you're changing things
maybe
like
a color of the cabinets.
Yeah, like maybe not even the cabinets usually. Like flooring, you're right. Yeah, just like that. So inventory homes, you don't get a lot of stuff, but there are some pros to the inventory home style, right? Yeah. So what is the major benefit of buying an inventory home?
If you are like, and your time frame is like short and you need to move, let's say 1 month, maybe 2 months, you'll have a new house ready for you, waiting for you.
Exactly. And if not even just that, if you know the house is going to be ready in 4 months and you want to give yourself 3 or 4 months before you move in,
Yeah.
you can do that. I think one of the biggest benefits of an inventory home as a realtor is that some inventory homes have sat a little bit longer, meaning it's already finished and they weren't able to sell it for some reason. And the longer the inventory home sits, the more it's costing the builder to keep it there.
So we have more room for negotiations
Yeah.
in behalf of our clients.
That's our chance to kind of get a really good deal. So the inventory homes tend to get amazing deals, especially what time of the year do you think you get really good deals?
Christmas time.
Christmas time. A lot of these builders are working, a lot of these builders are like publicly traded or maybe they're privately owned, but all the same, they have to hit their certain numbers.
Exactly. They have to meet the numbers, yeah.
And the numbers usually is a fiscal year thing. So, you know, if you think you want to buy a house towards the end of the year, that's a really good opportunity to buy an inventory home, but not so much a dirt build, or we call them dirt builds from the ground up, because they're trying to get those numbers closed.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to something that's going to take a little bit longer to talk about, and that's what happens if you want to build a house from the ground up.
So let's start from the ground.
Let's start from the ground.
Yeah, let's pick the lot.
Let's pick the lot. So all lots built the same?
No.
Definitely not. I think so. I used to work for a builder, and out here in Houston, and I would say most places in Texas, we categorize the different price points of homes by the different lot types.
Yeah.
So you'll hear lingo like 50 foot, 60 foot, 70 foot, and what we're referring to is the width of the lot.
Yeah.
So because a 50-foot wide lot can only fit a certain type of home.
Yeah.
So typically the wider the lot, the more house you can build on it, the more expensive the house is probably going to be.
Into that, and the lot is also, where is the lot located? Is facing the lake, or do you have neighbors in the back, or are you in the cul-de-sac?
Yep, cul-de-sacs are bigger lots, so they tend to be more
I love my cul-de-sac.
more expensive.
Yeah.
She loves her cul-de-sac. They tend to be more expensive.
Yeah.
So the different lots have different prices also. It's a little, they tack on an additional fee. So the standard lot, like if you go through a middle of the street and you see 5 houses, the ones in the middle, which are standard lots, they tend to be sort of included or at a low premium to the house. But the big lots, or the ones like you were saying, the lake lots, those will cost more to buy on top of what you see on the price sheet for the builder.
Yeah.
So we're starting from the ground up, right?
Yeah.
So we have the lot picked out, we know what type of house. What else is going to affect the price of the home?
The face of the house.
The face of the house. Now,
How do we call that?
in builder terms, we call that elevations. And it's really weird because when I first got into this industry, I thought elevations meant how high the house is. But no, elevations is like the face of the house. Most HOAs have stipulations of like the face of the houses, and you don't want them all to match. We don't want them all to be cookie cutter. So every floor plan will come with elevations, several faces, and sometimes the more complicated or the bigger or nicer the face elevation,
It's gonna be more expensive.
the more expensive it is.
Yeah.
So that ends up being a major part of what a floor plan costs. You'll see on a floor plan that it'll see the base, you'll see the standard elevation, and you'll see little options at the bottom. And just the more you go down the elevations, the more expensive it's probably going to be. Let's move on. So we picked out the lot. We picked out the face elevation, the floor plan too, and obviously the floor plans are pretty standard. Like as far as you know, the bigger the house, the more expensive it's going to be. But outside of the floor plan, the lot premiums, and the elevations, what's the next biggest thing that people keep picking out of their house that makes it more expensive? So at the end of the day, those are the major things that affect the house. Obviously the floor plan of the house, the changes you want to do to the floor plan if they have options for that, the elevation of the house, the face of the house, the lot premium, what width of the house is, because that's a different price point sections you have too. So let's pretend that we had all of those things picked out and we want to build a house from the ground up.
Okay.
So most builders run their earnest money or how they put a deposit in the house differently than resale home, right?
Yeah.
So let's say we picked out all of the floor plan, all the things for the house. What makes builders different is their earnest money situation. Traditionally on resale, obviously it's negotiable, but we're used to using about 1% of the price of the home as the earnest money. But for builders, each builder has their own
book, the flat fee.
Yeah, they each have their own flat fee. So you'll see some builders like, hey, with $1,000, we'll lock down this house for you. Or with $5,000, we'll lock down this house for you. And there's certain types of homes, like, you know, luxury brand ones, I've seen them go up to
More,
$15,000, $20,000, $30,000 just to lock down the house. So it's not always a 1% what we're used to out here. It's usually a flat fee there.
Yeah, and depends on the builder.
And that's not the only thing they'll typically collect. If you've done certain design options, like
It's not just that. If you pick, let's say, this color of the carpet or this exactly flooring, or you want to pick this color of the cabinets, they're gonna ask for more because they're gonna build a house to suit your needs or your likes.
Yep. So they'll ask for a deposit depending on some of the selections you do too.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind that in the beginning it could get a little bit expensive. On the plus side, that money usually goes towards your down payment.
Down payment. Yeah.
So it's, if your down payment was going to be X amount of dollars, you can subtract that from what you were going to bring.
You're gonna pay inclusive day.
Exactly. So we figured out the house. We figured out the floor plan. We signed the contract. We've given the earnest money away. We're ready to move forward. What is the next thing that usually happens with most builders after we sign the contract?
You go to the design center, then you pick everything, like, of course, not everything, but in certain categories, you can pick what you want in your house, from the color or the design of the lining to the carpet, to the flooring, the colors of the cabinet, everything.
All the interior stuff gets picked out. I mean, even your front door gets picked out at Design Center. And at Design Center, keep in mind, they'll give you something that's already included,
Yeah.
and then something that's an upgrade. And guess what happens if you pick an upgrade?
Increase the price of the house.
Yep, and you have to give what more?
Earnest money.
More deposit on the
Yeah.
upgrades that you pick out. So just keep that in mind. I recommend that you have a realtor like us attend Design Center's appointments with you. And like a bonus tip, it's not because we're trying to control things for you. I think we just like to tell you, hey, this will be popular, this will help you or hurt you in the future for resale.
And this is not necessary.
Yeah, just not necessary. Don't even do that. I mean, we're a source of accountability if you let us be a source of accountability. But you picked out all your finishings. You want the entire house to be painted black, whatever. After that, you have a meeting with the superintendent, with the builder. Now, the superintendent builder, that's going to be your new person. You've been meeting with the sales guy the whole time. Now you're going to meet with the guys in charge of building the house.
The guy with the boots.
The guy with the boots and the hard hat, exactly. The guy with the truck.
Yeah.
Then you meet with him or her, and they'll go over all of the house, every detail of the house.
Every detail, like every single aspect that you pick in the design center is gonna be write down in a paper.
Yep.
All the details.
It's their job to make a game plan of how we're going to tackle construction and at what phases we're going to do X, Y, and Z for the house.
They're gonna set all the expectations for the process.
Exactly. Now, after this point, that's when they'll start building the house. Now, the houses I categorize in some simple phases. I'm going to go over, there's probably 13 different steps to building a house. I mean, there's probably 13 different phases to building a house. I'm going to give you 4 major phases because these are 4 major pinpoints to do inspections on a house.
Yeah.
So the first one is foundation. You want somebody to come inspect
A third-party foundation.
A third-party
inspector.
Yeah, because the builder's going to have their own inspector come out and greenlight the house from the city to make sure they can pour foundation.
But you definitely want to bring your own inspector to this phase.
Now, you don't want to bring this inspector before they pour. You want to bring them right before they pour.
Before.
Keep in mind, once they pour that foundation,
That's it.
that's it. So if you wanted an extra bathroom and you paid for that extra bathroom and they didn't pour the foundation to account for that, they're not going to break up the foundation just to redo that bathroom. You're kind of
So that phase is when you see all the blue, and you still see the ground of the house.
Oh yeah, you still saw everything. Yeah, that's a major pink point. Also a really good time to take a picture. The second major phase that I want you to keep in mind of is pre-drywall phase. This is right after the frame has been put up, the roof is up, they've already started doing some electrical work and some water lines. Right before they start covering up the walls.
Here, at that moment, is when you have to bring your inspector. Your inspector is going to be able to see all the wiring of the house, water lines, water pipes, all the things that you're not going to be able to see once the drywall is
And it's
on.
important to have them. And it's not just those things. Sometimes a stud is off.
Yeah.
Sometimes they nailed something wrong or they broke something. You won't see that anymore once they cover it up, right? So that's why you want to do an inspector. So that's 2 out of the 4. The next 2 phases are really, really close to each other at the timeline. They're right at the very end. One is about right when they claim that the house is finished.
The pre-walk.
The pre-walk.
Or the first walk.
The walk. you get 2 walks sometimes. You get the first walk and then you get a second walk. And you want an inspector on their first walk. And the house is finished, they've already finished, installed everything, and an inspector can now inspect the home as a complete home.
Exactly. So at this phase, the inspector is going to be paying attention to the details of the house. Before the last walk-in, they have to fix everything that you mark in that.
Exactly. And that what she's talking about is the 4th one. So the final walk. Now this is normally, this phase is right the day of closing, the day right before closing, and it serves as a confirmation that everything that you've inspected and asked to be repaired or corrected from the previous one is fixed. Now this, you don't have to have an inspector during these phases, but we strongly recommend you do, because this is a third party that will help keep the builder accountable to building the home.
And it's surprisingly bad. The inspectors find, even in big builders that they have good reputation, these inspectors find stuff that they need to fix.
And it's not because builders are bad, it's because at the end of the day, humans are building the house. And humans make mistakes. And when you're working on a house over the 6 months, something's bound to come up, and you want to have somebody there to help pick those things up. Something I will add though, throughout the process of this home being constructed, which normally, let's say a home takes about 5 to 7 months to build, you have inspectors during different phases, but you also have us as realtors checking in with the builder on a weekly basis. Celia out here takes a picture for her clients every single week. And it's almost like you can see like how the house grows week over week, and you can get an idea of what's going on with the house. And sometimes it's no news, and sometimes it's...
But that's a good thing. Sometimes no news is good news.
Yeah, that means they're right on course and they're building stuff out.
And I would like to add that we represent you as client, and the builder has his own representation. That is that person that you met that day that we picked the builder. And
Sarah's making a great point, and this is kind of one of the last things we want to talk about. Why would you want to use a realtor for a new construction transaction? Now, I will say my personal answer to that is that I was working in the new construction side for several years before I became a realtor. I know that side pretty well, not just the construction aspect, but also the corporate level aspect of that. So when I come into the picture, I serve as another measure of accountability of what to expect and what not to expect. I can tell you if there's foul play, I can tell you if everything's going to go great. And that's something that most buyers don't know that they need until it's probably too late.
Until there is a problem.
Until there's a problem, and then how do you handle that problem?
One of the other things is why to have a realtor in this process is that we're gonna negotiate it for you.
Yeah, we know what the trends are as far as incentives, discounts, and what you should be getting out of a home. And we'll be able to tell you, oh, you're not getting a good deal. And then we can step in and get you a good, well, Celia can step in and get you a really, really good deal. That's one of the things she does best. So it's not just about, the value of a realtor is not just we're going to go in and do everything and negotiate. We will negotiate, but it's not just that. You're kind of hiring us for our experience and to know if something's going right or wrong. And if something does go wrong, who's going to do what about it? And you want us as an extra layer of protection against those types of things.